In this episode, Justin, Christian and I explore the ancient decorative watchmaking arts and why they will survive beyond AI. Welcome to the BC Files, the untold stories of the world's oldest watchmaker. This is a series that I'm enjoying so much because we talked for years about doing this, gentlemen.
Justin,
Christian, an absolute pleasure. Thanks, Andrew, for the kind invite.
And look, to bring you in on the why, if this didn't exist, why does it need to? It's because this access that we have here at Vacheron today and having Justin bringing the collector's perspective as well as Christian's is a rare opportunity. Justin, why did you join us at the table? What are we doing with
I'm
the
now
BC
regretting
Files?
it, actually. I'm now regretting it. It was a very early flight this morning, and I'm now regretting it because the coffee's not been up to scratch. No, it's all good. This is absolutely my mecca. And let's be honest, Christian, and he is here, and he's paid me good money to say this, but you're a very special man in the watch world generally.
Correct.
And you are, in many ways, the encapsulation of the brand. You've been here for, well, we're not going to date you immediately, but the 1990s, right? The 1990s.
I think this is my 36th year at Vacheron Constantin, so I feel like I know better and better the brand.
Yeah. And so you had to be part of this. I'm still very grateful that I was called in to be part of this series. I still remember when you took me down into the archives years ago, and we opened up that book amongst others.
Yeah.
And
This one is a very special one. Yeah.
This is this contains watch number 1 by Vacheron in 1811, and it has the handwriting of Jean-Marc Vacheron in there. This is a truly historical object.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, so we have this great chance that we have all our archives which are available. That means that we have all the production registers of Vacheron Constantin since the very first watch from 1755 until today. And yes, that book covers 1755 until the year 1811. So something super precious, not only from the historical point of view, but we use that book as well when we have to authenticate a timepiece that would come back for, having a certificate of authenticity, so we can check whether or not the watch is still original. So it's priceless.
I still don't know how you manage with the number of messages you get from all the different messaging app platforms from collectors around the world asking you, Christian, can you have a look at this? Can you have a look at this? So you actually go down into the archive, pull open the book.
Well, that would make my days super long, actually. So no, my colleagues of the heritage team, they take the greatest care about these inquiries. Yeah, but it's always super interesting. Definitely.
And Andrew, we've been lucky enough over the years to see lots of different archives. Some are big, some are small, from lots of different brands. But I would genuinely, and I'm not just saying it because we're here today, but the Vacheron archive is unlike any other. And so we riffed on different ideas of what this series could look like over many, many months.
Yes.
And we came to the idea of asking Christian and your team to come up with a selection of watches for each subject. We've got 4 different episodes.
Yes.
And then we're going to sort of finish touching on the journey to the modern era. So there'll be a link looking back from the early stuff to the new stuff. And there's a very straight line there.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's how we'll kick it off.
Yeah, great. So let's go for it. Right?
So it is Métier d'Art today, and we have examples here to illustrate the point. But for those that are tuning in thinking, why does this deserve an episode? Christian, what is it about this sort of juncture where watchmaking becomes art?
Yeah, true.
Where an instrument becomes a canvas. What is it about this that deserves a whole episode?
Yeah, so I think first of all, why métiers d'art are so important for Vacheron Constantin. So what are the reasons behind? So first of all, I have to say that, I think that, decorative crafts associated with watchmaking is something which is very much from the, let's say, Geneva high watchmaking. Yep. In a sense that in Geneva, in the 16th and 17th century, there was an area in Geneva where, there was like a community of artisans, enamelers, engravers, gem setters, etc., which was called La Fabrique, the manufacturer, who would say in English, or Le Fabrique, maybe, that's nicer. And so that's why we have inherited this sense of, having watches which are decorated with these crafts. So on top of that, I think also it's highly important for Vacheron Constantin. I mean, as a substance, as a part of our identity. Because, if we look back to the early years of Vacheron Constantin, so what do? What do we see? Sorry. So we see that, yes, there is since the beginning a great sense of, handmade finishing, decoration on the movements, high degree of watchmaking, complications a bit later. But at the same time, we see also that the very early Vacheron Constantin adopted decorative crafts, so the métier d'art, into our watches.
When we say decorative arts, we should also clarify what we're talking about. And we've got a few vintage pieces that illustrate that. But enameling, gem setting, guillochage, which we see here on my watch, all of those types of things are what we're referring to.
So, as a matter of fact, there are quite a few of these métier d'art or decorative crafts associated with watchmaking. I would say for us, we decided that to focus on 4 historical crafts. So they are enameling, as you are mentioning, engraving, guillochage, and gem setting. So these 4 historical crafts are the backbone of our métier d'art decoration workshop that we created in the middle of the 2000s. These crafts almost disappeared during, let's say, the 70s and the 80s. Yeah.
And of course, the role that métier d'art plays in modern Vacheron has its beginnings in that period where you again put a spotlight back on these crafts. What are your favorite memories and watches from that period that stand out to you as real milestones?
Well, okay, so basically we started the product department at Vacheron Constantin in 2002. So I think that speaking about decorative crafts or métier d'art, I think the métier d'art and the masks has been really a cornerstone moment. That was a great adventure. So yes, I can tell you a bit more anecdote about that series. We have to remember that in 2005, the high watchmaking, which was until 2002 or 3, pretty conservative, was really like booming. Everything was a new kind of watchmaking was arriving. So modernist watchmaking, call it the way you want. The guys who are doing this kind of watches. So I won't mention names, all right? But you all understand. So in 2005 we had watches with totally different, very modern, super. Also, it was the beginning of black stealth watches, etc. So we said to ourselves, okay, so I think we are a benchmark of classic, elegant, sophisticated design. So we said to ourselves, okay, well, I don't think we don't want to really jump into this train and start to do 47 millimeter diameter timepieces with coated in black, etc. So instead of that, we said, okay, so if we want to do something which would be bold, creative, modern, etc., hyper modern, let's use métier d'art, because this is once again the creative playground of Vacheron Constantin. So we thought about that series, the masks, which was honestly was very avant-garde, in a sense that we were a bit, shaking the tradition or created a kind of disruption by having, a mix of high-end, sophisticated technologies like vaporizing gold powder to create on sapphire crystal for this series, with poems of Michel Butor. And on the other side, we had these masks that were reduced to a very, very tiny mask in the middle, and also decorated with métier d'art. So that was really a fantastic adventure. That was pretty risky. I do remember that. I think before SHH at the time, so Watches and Modern right now. So I remember the week before, I was every evening I was going back and saying, we're going to be ridiculous, my God. People will laugh at us. These watches, they are so. That was really the stress, and we had a tremendous welcome for this series, which potentially has been in a way shaping a bit the way we think métier d'art today. Kind of a blend of tradition but hyper modernity too. Such it is the case like the watch I see here at the right, which is inspired by Escher. It's a kind of similar situation.
Gentlemen, talking about watches is like dancing about architecture, especially when the watches are painstakingly close to our hands.
Yep.
Christian, could you please talk us through Vacheron and métier d'art? with these. You have selected these timepieces
Sure.
to tell a story.
Yeah, so basically, actually, you asked us to select few watches from the past, in addition to the new ones. And so, actually, I thought it would be interesting to have a kind of, different crafts. And maybe to start with this, I love very much all these timepieces, but that one is actually really cool. It's from 1915, so it's a pendant watch. So a watch designed for ladies, obviously, which has a beautiful cameo on the back. Two different agates. You can see also that there is a very fine setting of diamonds, engraving, also diamond setting on the pendant here, and also very, very beautiful.
What year is this from?
1915.
1915.
And Vacheron has...
Look also. Excuse me. Look also how tiny, how small the movement is for a watch from the beginning of the 20th century.
Vacheron has an interesting history with women's watches as well.
Yeah, sure.
Very early
much.
on, very early on. Hidden watches.
Totally. Pendant brooches, including chiming watches as pendant, and also one grand sonnerie, which was designed for a lady during the 19th century, which is amazing. Yeah.
Wow. And what material is the actual case?
This is ivory, sir.
Ivory?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Something these days we...
As a South African, you'd be fine with that.
We will not be able to do it again.
Absolutely stunning, and it's a little cherub in there on the carving, the cameo. Gorgeous. Look at it. Really is.
Christian, let me ask you a question. I think there's a perception that a lot of métier d'art pieces were the preserve of ladies' watches.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes and no, actually. I think also at the very beginning, also this kind of decorated watches, they were also worn by men. But it's true that with the development of jewelry and also with the development of wristwatches as well, so more and more women actually have been the adopters of watches. But it's true that in the 19th century, for example, we made a lot of pendant watches. There was and brooches as well. They were the most popular.
What's this here? This is sort of a cocktail
it's
dress
a
watch.
1924 beautiful example. So Art Deco. You can see the very delicate work of setting, and also a very, very fine work of what we call a perlé, also, which is something very typical from the 20s.
It's a wonderful frame of the dial.
Yeah, sure.
The drama
Very
of it.
delicate, very, very feminine. And obviously, this is white metal and this is platinum. There were no white gold in the beginning of the 20th century, so these watches are in platinum.
Yeah, it's got the heft to it. You can feel that.
And now we get into a piece that I think you would be seeking from as a gift from the company one day, perhaps.
Yeah. Justin has been challenging me with what I would like to possibly extract from our collection.
You put it
so that's a great example. So this is a 1950, one of these Stern Frères cloisonné dials. And look at that. I mean, this is a 100% Vacheron Constantin design, because you have the famous Comte de Vache lugs, and you have this beautiful, I would say, kind of naive representation of a caravelle with these absolutely beautiful colors. And for collectors of, I would say, cloisonné enamel, these dials from Stern Frères, they are highly regarded, and they reach very high prices at auction.
Proportions on that particular watch are quite small. I mean, that's like 31, 33 maybe.
Yeah, probably 31, 32. But it was a typical, I would say, diameter for a dress watch for men in the 40s and the 50s. In the 50s, it became slightly up to 35. But honestly, I remember to come back to the good old days when I joined the company. I would say our best seller in terms of dress watch for men, it was a model which was a 32 millimeter in 1990, right?
Wow.
You see the evolution.
Right?
Yeah.
And some of these cloisonné enamel dials are just the sort of central dial, not necessarily from Vacheron, but I've noticed from makers, generally speaking, sometimes in the center of the dial. It's lovely to see this where it's the full dial. Yeah, they've not held back.
Right, very, very much. Very, very nice one. I love it.
I mean, and Justin, as a collector, Do you hunt down pieces like that? Are there many like those on the market at any given time?
I mean, they're hard. I mean, this is.
You're usually the one buying.
They're really hard to catch. Come on.
I'll always message Christian. I mean, he doesn't want to hear from me anymore now, but I'll always message him and ask him what his thoughts are on something, and cross-referencing case numbers and movement numbers, even looking at dials, because some of these dials, to find really good quality original ones are not always easy as well. I mean, look, this is rarefied air. This is top tier stuff. I'm not in that field, but certainly looking at something like the Mercator, which is more approachable. That's hard inlaid enamel, slightly different to this cloisonné. But look, I love the artistry of this type of.
And they are so much rooted in this decade, the 50s of breaking with the codes of the pre-Second World War, breaking with the codes of Art Deco, moving to another direction, bold, etc. So I love them very much for that.
And I sort of love the fact that this was sort of this was like 90s and Mercator was early 90s. There was something about Vacheron at that point that was sort of rolling the dice a little bit, because we're still recovering from the crisis in the 70s.
Sure.
And there was that need to be creative. And this is what we saw from them. So, and a totally original case shape, same with the Mercator, the audacity of that case shape. I mean, you can see it here with the Conde Vache, in this case almost untouched. Just remarkable.
What's the ballpark on something like that? If I'm sitting here thinking, I might throw the dice on that. What am I talking?
It really depends on the condition. It depends on the subject, but it could be well above. It would be low six figures, to speak like a banker.
Okay.
Meaning you need
the dream is over. There we go.
You have to be quiet.
I mean, but this is the reserve of the absolute peak season auction catalogue, right? I mean, we were talking on the way over about watches in the current catalogue that might well be seen, and we're going to come to some maybe here that could well be seen in catalogues down the line in years to come in the collectionnaire. What are we going to see? And this is something absolutely.
This is really like bumping into this Stanford cloisonné enamel from the 50s. It's everyday's dream. If one suddenly appears and they ask us, potentially an auction house asks us, "Hey, can you tell us whether this one is original or not?" Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's interesting though, because actually this Infinite series, we'll come back to this pocket watch, but this Infinite series here, that's probably more for the collector that's maybe a little bit earlier in their journey, a little bit more approachable price point wise, and a little bit more size as well. So for someone who's more comfortable wearing a more modern watch.
Yeah, so. Well, this one is a typical. Well, it's a modern, modern metier, if I might say. We spoke earlier about the role that Vacheron Constantin has been playing with the let's say the rebirth of decorative crafts in fine watchmaking. And I was talking also why it's so important for us to maintain these historical crafts, however, to express them in a modern, bold, creative way. I think it's a super nice example. Well,
you quite literally work with artists to bring their work to life on dials. I mean, Andrew touched on it earlier, this idea of when does a watch become a piece of art, and that's a strategy that Vacheron has promoted since you've been here, is working with artists in different forms to put their work on dials.
There's something about this tessellation.
Tessellations,
but that's so pleasing to the OCD in me, the sheer symmetry of this.
Very much, man.
It's just incredibly soothing.
And
with that one anomaly of the diamond inlaid piece.
And so once again, so here we have this is the result of a collaboration between our artisans, because you have engraving on the dials plate. You have enameling, of course. Then you have
some guillochage on the birds.
Guillochage on the doves, and you have one dove which is paved with diamonds. So the four historical crafts are all inside this timepiece.
There was a reference, I think, that came in a similar case, if not the same case as this. The graves, almost like gunsmithing.
You speak about the mécanique gravée.
Yes,
got it.
So that's one of my all-time favorites. But that's almost like sort of gunsmithing, on the stocks.
Very much, because there is actually a patina on the movement. Yeah, absolutely true.
Absolutely stunning.
We have been using this case for some Métiers d'Art series, because this is a design which is classic, elegant, doesn't shout loud. And we love it.
I should tell this story, which is one that still lives in my mind. Is in London. There there was a footballer that came in. I wasn't there, but there was a footballer who played in the Premiership who came in. He was a big client of Vacheron, and my friend who was looking after him. And he had bought lots of sort of flamboyant watches you might expect from lots of different brands. And he said, I'm looking for something that's quintessential Vacheron. I'm looking for something that no one else in the dressing room is going to have.
That's a good brief.
And he was 21 years old, 22 years old. He was wanting a proper watch that was reflective of Vacheron Constantin. And he left with that watch. He left with that watch.
The mécanique gravée?
Yes, 36, 37 millimeters.
Yes.
Handmade.
Yeah, very nice one.
Incredible. So I just love that. And I don't know who it was, and I don't know which matches he wore it in, but there we go.
And I have to be the one to mention this.
Oh yeah,
because
sure.
Before,
This one is
when you were
phenomenal.
having a little break outside, looking somewhat like this, though more elegant, we did take a picture, which I think we could probably put as an inset in this frame, just to show the inspiration. But this is actually not a very old piece, despite looking it's a
1964.
neo-vintage piece. But
1964. Yeah.
But can you tell a little story about how on earth did this extraordinary picture come
Yes,
to be?
so that is a quite
And what is
really
going on
very interesting example. So
taking his last breath.
this is part of a painting, which name is the pipe smoker, obviously, and this is a miniature painted enamel by Carlo Poluzzi. Carlo Poluzzi being the reference of one of the major reference from the past when we speak about miniature painted enamel. And so yes, that is an unexpected, I would say, a timepiece, because most of the time you have some landscapes or neoclassical or sometimes romantic subjects, but this one is very surprising, and it's quite but the level of execution is mind-blowing.
Remarkable.
And I love very much, there is nothing to do with actually métier d'or, sorry about that. But look also at the dial with this beautiful dial, very original as well. Combining
Those markers that have
markers which are vertical. Some of them they are painted, some others they are appliqued. I like it.
How would that subject have come to life in this, do you think? Was this something he was inspired by? Was this something that the owner might have... Was that the owner?
Yeah. So we don't have a really... we cannot prove it, right? We don't have something which is written, but most probably it was certainly an order from a client. Certainly, because that makes sense, especially for a watch from the 60s. Pocket watches were already quite rare at the time, so yes, I assume it was certainly a special order.
Because we can put a frame around these, and I'd like to give you a little challenge here. What production numbers of each of these pieces would you guess at, starting from left to right?
No, but I would say timepieces, we have seen the pendant watch from 1915. Sometimes they are unique, potentially unique. So I have to be cautious with the words I'm talking about. So potentially unique. The other ones, very few examples, probably less than 10.
Less than 10.
From the Stan Frère, certainly less than 10 examples of this subject. Yeah, sometimes with other colors. I would say the Poluzzi, absolutely unique. And Univers Infini, that one particularly is the first one we made, and it was actually never sold. That's the unique one, which is this red enamel. But we did a series. If I'm not wrong, we were about 25 pieces each.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong.
Okay.
And just in case doves aren't your vibe, there was another variation from the same artist in the same series, Angels and Demons.
Oh yeah.
This was a cool one.
No, this is a great one. I would say the anecdote is quite funny about the angels one. So when we decided to create that series of infinite universes based on the work on Moritz Escher, so my colleague and friend Vincent, so we selected some designs. Of course, the dove was one of the designs, and we bumped into a design where you had it's also the kind of tessellations or remplissage périodique du plan. I have no idea in English how it is. Anyway, so so the Escher's work was made in a way that you had angels, and between the angels you had another form, which, by the way, was a demon, right? So you have this great combination, the duality of angels and demons. And that was so fantastic that we decided to create the very first prototype of the series using our colleagues from the Metiers workshop. They've been working on it. They made the very first one, which was the angels and demons. When we found the result, it was just phenomenal. But together with Vincent, we say, okay, so if we want that series to be successful and to come into reality, we should start with another subject than the angels and demons. So that's why we have been we basically put the dial in a safe. We kept it during 1 year, and we came the second year with the angels subject. Yeah, so that was the story.
You wore it for a period of time as well. Not that one. Or did you wear that one? You might have worn that watch.
You mean the angels?
Yeah.
So I used to. I confess, I used to wear it from time to time, and for me, the fun part of it, if I may say, it was that so some people like imagine that it would be you, Justin. So you would probably notice my watch, and I would give it to you, and I would ask you, what did you see at first sight? And you would probably answer, the angels. Let's say things like that. So that would be a very positive answer. But the contrary would be a bit different.
Does it tell you something about the person?
I have no idea. But that was more for fun. Yeah.
Brilliant. And we can probably link on to the new ones, right?
Well, this is where we come back into the story as a trio, because we were all at the Louvre for the launch of the first Louvre classic civilizations, ancient civilizations timepieces.
Yeah.
And there were, how many of each of those were there? 25 of each. There were 4.
You mean the first series?
The first series.
Oh my gosh, only 5.
5 of them. There were 5 of each only. And that was, for me, really seeing how far metier d'art could be pushed. Because not only was it these ancient motifs, but also using the original materials. And underneath that tray, I think we might have a sequel.
Yes, Andrew, like you were mentioning, I think I would say when we reveal in 2022 the tribute to the great civilizations, I think the level, I would say, first of all, as you mentioned, the exactitude of everything. I mean, respecting the original areas, respecting the artworks, etc. That was fantastic. Also, the level of execution was mind-blowing. These watches, they were phenomenal. So, when we decided to make a second series based also on the same civilizations, so I've been discussing with our designer Katinka, and so she had a very, very clear idea of what she wanted to do. And I would say she had ideas about changing a bit the things compared with the first series. So I was like, "Are you sure?" Because that was so absolutely perfect for me that I really. And she said, "No, I think I have a good idea. I think I will change several things and do it in a slightly different way." So so I was like, "Okay." So let's see how it's going to be.
Skeptical.
And I was not skeptical, but I was just expecting, I was just curious about. And honestly, when I saw these watches, I was speechless actually. I think that there's a degree of exception in these timepieces, which is out of this world. And I remember I spoke with Katinka after the presentation and I said to her, I'm not sure you really realize what you have designed really and what you have done, because it's so phenomenal. So I think it's a fantastic series, and I'm really, what can I say? I'm really, I think they are marvelous. And I think also I still see a great thing. I still see the I would say the audacity in the design, because like Justin, you have Athena, the Velletri here. You can see that the main subject is really at the right. Yeah. So there is always a great dynamism in the composition, etc. So, and obviously, having used the exact materials, like in your hand you have the Akhenaton bust, the stone in which it has been engraved is the same stones. I mean, coming from the same area, and this is true for all the watches, which I think gives an extra authenticity.
And this format you've pioneered over the last couple of years, the last couple of series, whenever you want to provide a framework for art, artistic execution, this is the framework with the windows in each corner.
Yeah, sure. It's our movement, which was especially designed for metiers d'art, because so it's a day. So we have hours, minutes, day and date, and we have removed all the hands, and using a disc at which gives full freedom to the designer and the artisan to express themselves in 3 dimensions. And I think, and there's a lot of things to discuss about this series, like the watch, Justin, that you have in your hand. If you look at this beautiful frame here, which is here, so honestly, you would think this is enamel, right? But no, this is glyptic. These are tiny stones, and I think it's set on a gold frame, so it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
all there. The colours, the depth of the dials themselves. It's just
This
endless.
is the Lamassu Mesopotamia, and here also, even if we speak about artworks which are coming from 750 before Jesus Christ, don't you think it looks super modern for me? It's not like tribute to. Yes, it's tribute to great civilization from the past, but I think the watch is very much a modern expression of these civilizations.
Earlier today, off camera, we were talking about another watch that we'll come to later on in the series, which is this wonderful confluence of sort of ultra modern watchmaking in a very sort of traditional case. And there's that flex, right? There's that high-low. There's that sort of.
So you're talking
unexpected.
about Metidal mask?
No. A watch that we'll come to later.
Okay.
It's but there's that lovely, and you're right here. We've got that lovely sense of
I see what you mean.
history, and then some very modern.
Sure.
Modern execution, modern watchmaking.
It's fantastic.
Tell me about this Greek-inspired piece with the horses.
Okay, so this is Athena, and you can see again. Well, first of all, you can see the design audacity in the sense that you have the goddess, which is not in the center but at the very right, giving enough place for this fabulous work of stone marquetry. I think so. So at the back, this is onyx, and you have 2 different type of stones to figure out the horses. And the horses, they were then finally micro painted. And on the external, you have a frieze which is also hand engraved. So I think it's another amazing one. And do we finish with the last one, which is a Roman one?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is a representation of the Tibre. And here we have different métiers d'art or decorative crafts. I like to point on the micro mosaic. So we used to have micro mosaic in the first series, if you do remember, with the Augustus bust. But look at the dimension of the mosaic. So I mean, the stones, they are. If you don't look at them from very closely, you would not suppose that it's possible to do a micro mosaic like that. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
And to give contrast and a very special kind of rendering, also, so we have on the background, we have a gold leaf to really reveal the subject.
Yeah.
And the external frieze is also hollowed out and also engraved by hand.
And Christian, who are the
Yes.
types of buyer, the type of collector that typically likes to go for these types of things? Are they artists, art lovers? Are they watch enthusiasts?
There are guys like you, Justin.
With a bigger budget.
You love Metidal
bigger
watches.
bank account.
No. I think that obviously there is, as we know, there is a community of collectors who are loving the decorative crafts, and so they are collecting Metidal watches definitely. So obviously they are part of the clientele. But we are also connecting with art collectors as well. Yep. People who, I would say most of the time, they would rather collect artworks or art pieces rather than watches potentially. But we have clients like this for this series as well.
Tell us about the engraving on this rotor.
So we have a dedicated rotor for the whole series. That was the same rotor at the first edition. So this is a rotor which has been, this is a kind of let's say, it's basically coming from lithography. This is the east facade of the Louvre in the early 19th century, and it's obviously part of the Louvre collection.
Incredible. Phenomenal. There you go. So limited run of each of them for 15.
15.
4 different executions.
And delivered with a certificate of authenticity signed by both partners, Vacheron Constantin and the Musée du Louvre. Yeah.
So look, in wrapping up this episode, Christian, there was no guarantee that decorative watchmaking would survive.
Yes, very true.
There is no guarantee.
No, there is
And you have been an agent of change in bringing it back. You've been active in your support of this, I think, thriving now part of watchmaking, and that just can't be glossed over in this episode. Is that you have just been so instrumental in maintaining the spotlight through these series, the Mask, Louvre 1, Louvre 2, which we have now in front of us. So that's what's special about this series, is that it's not just commentary. It's not, the collector at the end of the process choosing between options. It's actually the person who, in the 90s, really put a spotlight back on métier d'art and can take some credit for the fact that they prevail.
I was not alone on this, right?
Not alone, but you were certainly in that group that made those decisions.
No, but once again, Andrew, so we spoke at the beginning about what makes Vacheron Constantin so special. So like I said, for me, this is absolutely this unique combination of technical know-how, handmade finishing, complications, etc., and this combination with decorative crafts. And that's our identity, right? So for that reason, it's more than necessary to make sure that these crafts are still with us today, because they are absolutely part of our identity. And our job is really to express them in a modern, contemporary way. And that's why, these watches from 2026, these I would say this amazing tribute to the great civilizations, they are 100% in the house. So I love them for that reason.
If I could have one just parting comment at the end here, just to say that these skills will not survive unless the likes of Vacheron support that, and the collectors out there support this.
I was going to say, we have to thank a million times our clients and collectors, because without this community, this know-how would have been lost.
Because complication is coming down and down and down. Like the complication is being homogenized in some respect.
Yeah.
This isn't. This isn't, and that's a really important point. And these artisans need to be training the next artisans, and we've seen the artisans working here in the workshops, and they are supporting the next generations come through. So that is so key to making sure this can all continue.
Yeah.
And this is all endless.
Yes.
I would argue its complication is not as endless as this can be.
And blessedly untouched by AI, blessedly untouched by technology, because these crafts are by hand and just painfully manual. So look, that was a very insightful episode, Christian.
Yeah, thank you. No, I fully agree with you. And there is one notion that my colleagues know. I speak a lot about that. But I really love this ancient notion, which is coming from ancient Greece and some other civilizations, which was the intelligence of the hand. So because, in the modern world of today, surrounded by technology, we tend to consider intelligence from the intellectual point of view, right? But there is indeed, I do consider the intelligence of the hand as really at the same level as the other one. So for me, this is...
And having tried this, I did actually do a enameling workshop at Louis Vuitton. I'm extraordinarily bad. I consider myself quite dexterous. I'm really not too bad with the hand. It's so difficult.
Well, it's not only about drawing or it's not only about painting. It's about knowing at which temperature your blue color will melt.
I didn't even get to that.
And if you are first enameling the blue, for example, and then you want to apply some blue, some red enamel, and if the red enamel melts at a higher temperature, your blue background is dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't even get to that. I just got to the part where I was lifting up this tiny little, the surface tension of the bubble of material was, it is so difficult. So again, it's not just that these arts are continuing, it's that there's just thousands of hours in developing the talent to do the most basic thing. Like I was just coloring in sections of a trunk. This was the easiest. Anyway.
It sounded like they chopped you. They could see you were dangerous, and they decided to chop you early.
They did, yes.
It's actually AI. Sorry, just as we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but this actually is what feels right to us as human beings. And I'd say it's like a really exciting proposition for young people coming through is an idea of spending their time on this type of work.
What's an AI-proof
Exactly.
career?
Like this is
Can't be an enameler at
anyway. It's not going to be your eye, that's for sure. But I just
Vacheron.
want to say that could be one of the reasons to get into it.
Christian, thanks again.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to Time+Tide, and also watch the other 3 episodes because we're just beginning here. This is the journey has just kicked off.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.